Hi guys, welcome to the fifth and last installment to the Pink Holiday series. I hope you all had fun so far. I'm guessing you guys did. But in this video, we are going to be painting this cute little guy. This is almost like a remix from one of my older videos because we did do a flamingo back, I'd say maybe like 4 or 5 years ago. And today we are doing him again, just in a more festive manner, I guess. So all the projects that we've done so far in the Pink Holiday series are perfect as DIY Christmas cards, holiday cards, artwork that you want to send to friends and family. So I hope you guys are taking full advantage of getting the base drawing and painting via these videos with me, having some fun, and then also getting some great gifts from the heart for folks. Okay, so let's get talking about the base drawing. Just like the previous 4 videos, the base drawing is available via my newsletter. So make sure you go onto my website. I've listed it in the description below. Sign up and you should get the base drawing for all the videos because I send out the emails twice a week, the beginning of the week and middle of the week, just so new people who sign up are able to get the information as well. All right, so on that note, let's talk about the supplies really quickly. So I've got my palette here. It's just my generic palette that I've been using. For those who are wondering where this is from Indigo. It was a gift. My paper, which I always tend to mention last, I'm going to mention first just so I don't forget. This is the Etcher wood pulp paper. This is what that looks like. I just cut the sheet down the center, and then this way I am able to get 2 little drawings out of it, or paintings out of it. For brushes, I've been using the same supplies pretty much throughout this Pink Holiday series. Same with the paper. The brushes are the Velvet Touch number 4, the Heritage in the 0, and then the Princeton Neptune number 6. For my colors, I'm using my Daleroni set of Aquafine watercolors. I've got water handy, I've got paper towel handy, and we are ready. Now, before we get to painting and mixing and all that fun, guys, I want to remind you, please hit the like button and subscribe button, as it really does help my channel grow, and I am able to make fun videos like this for you guys. I also forgot to mention that I have the deco brushes and I just kept them on to the side here because I'm unsure if I'll be using them or not. But let's start tackling our painting right away. So we've got our bird and he's got himself woven with the string of lights, and then he's got this cute little antlers up happening. So we're going to start off with painting the bird itself. It's a basic pink color to go with our pink theme. Now, throughout the series, I have been doing the technique of dampening with the number 6 and then going in with the number 4 with color. So feel free to use that if you like that technique, or if you want to go ahead and paint him in color and then kind of use water to move it around. That's also good. So for my colors, for my pink, I am going to use my favorite, which is the Alizarin Crimson. And I want to have a little bit of like an orangey pop to him. So I am going to add a little bit of the vermilion hue, and fingers crossed, let's see how that goes. So I have some basic pink that I had mixed up, similar tones. I'm just going to mix on top of that because we want a very light version of this. So what I will do, I will mix my pink. Here's my strategy behind how to tackle this. I'm going to mix my basic pink so I have tons, and then I'll start painting. And then for the vermilion, we're going to use the number 4 and just kind of dab in a little bit here and there. We'll also use the number 4 to dab in additional bits of the pink because I'm sure we're going to want to have some areas that are darker and such. So here we go. I'm using the number 4 and I'm just going to make sure I'm not painting his beak. And actually, I want to be extra sure I don't do anything like painting his beak even marginally. So I'm using the number 4 to dampen this portion and also around the eye. This area is super tight just because we've got the eye, we've got the curve of the beak, and then we also have the area where the tie lies. Mind you, it's not super important about the tie because that's going to be black or metallic, so you can always sort of have it in a more opaque tone so then you're able to see it through the pink. So not super worried about that. So I dampened the area, then dropped in my light color. That is what I did here. Now we can, from here, we can sort of extend and move on. So I'm going to use this technique for the neck just so I can get a nice flow of color happening. And I don't have to work too hard because I'm just sort of doing my stroke and it's spreading all around, and then I'm just touching up the areas that don't have color. See how easy that is? Watercolor is so awesome. Now, another thing I want to do is just swipe off a little bit of this color, because as I was adding the color, I had a lot of watercolor mixture on my brush, and so it's just sitting there and it's looking a little bit darker. So I moved it around, and I'm moving this stuff around as well. Don't mind the string too much, just skirt around the lights, because I think the lights are the only thing that I'm not quite sure if it'll be too opaque or opaque enough, the colors that we pick, unless we use our deco brushes. But I'm just going to skirt around and do this for now. Now, before I progress to any more, I'm going to stop right here, and I want to dampen with a little bit of the vermilion hue, mainly on the inside of the neck here. So I'm going to get some of that vermilion hue, mix it onto the side just to make sure it's okay. I'm going to get a little bit at the bottom and then drop some here. Give it like a nice, beautiful mixture, maybe a little bit here on this curve. Perfect. And now just going to mix. If the color's sort of just sitting there and you want more of a bloom into the pink, just go back in with your brush and move the color around. That is totally allowed. And then I'm painting the rest. Now I want to give this bird a little bit of very slight detailing of feathers happening over here. So we're going to do the following just as soon as we finish painting this bit. Getting more of that, and I'm just going to allow this to seep downward here, just in areas where it's meeting the limbs or it's connecting somewhere. I just want to show that there's a method to our madness of adding this additional hue mixture. Now there's a lot of feathery things happening here, so I just got more water on my brush, and I am just lightly kind of adding strokes going downward, because this is not really a solid enclosure, but more of a feathering. And then I'm pulling down this area here. And then a little bit on this folded leg here. And then back to our vermilion. And I'm just gonna add a little bit along this leg. Maybe even throw in a bit in the feathers a little bit. Okay, so now we've got that. I want to add a little bit of detailing, like I mentioned, in the feathers. And so what I'm going to do is add a little bit more of this happening here. So I got a little bit of that. You can use your number your 0 brush if you want, and then we're going to add a little bit of strokes happening here. And again, it's nicely achieved, or this technique is nicely achieved if the area is damp. So that's why I didn't go in as soon as it was, like I laid down the color. I kind of waited for it to dry a little bit before going in there. And then I'm adding this in. Any areas that you want to really sharpen or emphasize for a little bit more contrast, now is the time to sort of add that in using the same color. And you can just take your second brush and just lightly wash all the color off, and then dab it onto your paper towel and just smoothen out any strokes that seem too hard edged. That's not giving you the nice blend. And you should be good. So I'm almost done. We don't want to overcomplicate this. This is supposed to be a fun exercise, so you can do multiples of these as well. And now that we've finished painting our bird, we can now move on to doing his feet. Before we get right into black and tackle the feet, I just want to add a little bit more of the pink, just maybe on the main foot, or leg rather. So I just did a little thin line, washed off my brush, I'm going back in and I'm smoothing it out as best as I can. That dried up super quick. Maybe even add a little bit of a couple of strokes onto the background leg as well. So the next color we're using is going to be Payne's Gray, and we're using that for his foot. So I'm getting some color directly from here, and I'm just going to add that in here. And if you've still got a little bit of that pink happening, and so it's sort of blending in with the pink, that's okay. I kind of like that. It just gives it a nice loose feel to things. I'm just touching up the corners of the feet with a little darker tone of the Payne's Gray. So now that we are done this, we're going to move on to doing the beak. So just because this is still damp and I don't want to do cross over and cause any mistakes. I'm going to flip him over. And what we're doing is we're just doing about half, a little more than half the beak. And so here's what that's going to look like. So I'm just going to start from the bottom and I'm doing this. And I'm painting the beak in. You can leave a sliver of white in between, just like I have, to kind of indicate that line. That's perfect. And then once this is finished, we're gonna progress on to doing the eye. Now the eye needs to be pretty much white all around, and I got a little bit of the pink into it. So what I'm doing is I am lightly grazing to outline the circle, and then I'm gonna go in. You can use your number 0 for this if it's too much control and you're not sure, or you can't hold your hand still, or whatever the reason is. Just use your number 0 and it should be a lot easier. Or you can use a graphic pen. So now the eye is ready. We are now, oh, before turning it around, let's just use the same color to paint in our ribbon. I just want to connect this here quickly, just to give it some outline. Now with the ribbon, if you want to do a little bit of shading, so for instance, if you do a couple of strokes just in the middle and then go in with the 0 and with just water on it, and you want to just pull and extend the color so you get a nice dark to light transition on there. It's a very minute detail, but again, it's really a preference if you don't want things to look very flat. This way you're getting different tones, and I like that, so I'm suggesting it to you guys in case you want to emphasize or really elevate the dimensions in your painting. Make it look a little more dimensional. You can even leave a little bit of white space in between. I know it's very, very tiny, but it is possible. So if you want to try that, it really, really like bumps up that whole looseness to your painting. Wow, the number 0 is awesome. Could have made this bow pink as well, but I think that would have been too much. Made it a bit more festive. I like the idea of like a black or a gray against the pink. I think it's so elegant. Kate Spade influence. Okay, so we are done this, and for our antlers, we're going to be using a sienna, I believe. Let's use a sienna for the antlers. Got a little bit of water on there. And for our little lights, we're tackling our lights once we're absolutely sure that everything is dried up, because we don't want anything to overlay on it. Now the lights are consisting of 2 parts. We've got the bulb area and the little attachment thing to the string, for lack of a better way of describing it. So we're going to make the attachment more of the gray, and then the colors for the lights, feel free to pick what you like. I am thinking I will do the turquoise because I really like how that looked throughout the series that we've been doing so far. The turquoise looked real pretty. And I think I will also use the Purple Lake, more of a purpley hue. And yeah, I'll keep them very much so in the same family and see what that looks like. So here we go. We've got the ultramarine violet. There's a permanent mauve. And I think the permanent mauve is a lighter version of that. And then we've got Purple Lake. And here's the transparent turquoise. Additionally, if you just want to use one color for simplicity purposes and just not tax yourself too much, that is also an option. I'm almost thinking to add a little bit of the vermilion hue, but I think it might be too bright against the pink. So let's scratch that idea and go off with the mauve first. And I'm just going to mix it in here just to make sure this is what I want. That's the mauve. This is a little bit of a test you guys can do. Yeah, I'm really liking the blue, so let's start off with the blue first. So I'll be alternating these 3 or 4 colors, and let me just do one, and I don't want to make this video too long, and so I will resume doing this by myself and then join you as soon as we're done. So even with this here, if you want to leave a little bit of white space in between, that is indicative of our nice loose style. That would be very pretty. You can also drop a blob of color in and then take another brush and smoothen out. So you've got different variations of tones in there, and it's not just a flat color. So there's a lot of different ways to tackle this. And then the easiest way would be to get our deco brushes and lightly add details that way. So I've got the turquoise, I've got the ultramarine violet, and let's do this one, which is the mauve, I believe. So that's 3. I'm gonna do one more. Let's do the green, actually. Just because we have no green on here, but I love that green, this sap green against the pink. Yep, this is sap green. So these are the 4 colors I'll be fluctuating with, and I will be right back. So this is what it ended up looking like. Some of them ended up smudging just a little bit more, which I'm not entirely against because I have no choice at this point, but it almost kind of looks like a glow happening within the feathers of the bird. So we're just going to run with that, and we are going to finish off with using the sepia hue for the horns. And I'm thinking we can either use the gray or the sepia for our string of lights, or even use a little bit of metallic. So here we go. I'm just getting some nice damp strokes of sepia happening within. And what I like to do is add a darker tone once we have dampened the full area. So same technique that I've used multiple times in different videos of mine. And it's just a great way to get a nice gradient like shadow and just highlight certain areas. This is the same technique I use for my leaves, actually. So starting from here, I'm just dabbing color that I got directly from the color cake, where it's more color, less water, and you can see the beautiful dark gradient. Maybe even add some in like certain areas where there's a fold, not really a fold, but like a dip in the there we go. Okay, so now dipping back to get a lot more water on my brush, just a little bit of the sepia. Okay, that was a lot of sepia, so I'm just washing off most of the color, and I'm using what I have here to spread it around with my brush. I'm being very careful not to touch my flamingo head, just in case it is mildly damp. I don't want it seeping into the pink because that is something I can't roll with. The blue lights, sure. The brown on the head of our flamingo, not so much. So using water to really spread the dampness and then dropping in color. And then it kind of does more than half the work for you. All you're doing is guiding it and maybe dropping in certain areas with a darker hue. Cute. So I've changed my mind about doing the string in metallics, and I'm going to do it in Payne's Gray. This happens a lot. I've also realized we need to do the base of the lights, but let's do the string first, and then we can take our time doing the base of the lights and then get back. I'm going to turn this around, or sideways first. I'm a tad bit apprehensive about doing the line on the body just in case it smudges, and I don't want that. So let me do everything around it first, delay it as best as I can, and then try. So this is what it looks like. I went ahead and painted all the little dark bits, attachments to the lights, and here I am just lightly grazing to get this attached. And it looks like the body is completely dried up now, so that's fabulous. There we go, and we are done. If you want, you can absolutely go ahead and make a splatter, and I would do the splatter in a combination of a light pink and perhaps the black. I love the black and pink combination. I think it's so elegant and cute and fashionable. You can also do metallics or metallics, whatever suits your mood, I guess. And that's it. So hope you guys enjoyed this. Let me know in the comments what you thought. I would love to see your work, so please do make sure you tag me on Instagram or share it on the Facebook group. I've listed that below. And last but not least, guys, if you like this, don't forget to hit that like button and hit the subscribe button, as it really does help my channel grow and I am able to spend more time creating wonderful videos like this for you guys. So thanks again for watching, and Merry Christmas to everybody. Bye.